Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, race fans, welcome. I tell you what, tonight we're in the big state of Texas here for some big-time racing, big-time guys here on the track, on a lot of big-time and league here with the Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series, round of 8 here in the chase, kicking it off, and it has been an interesting one in the middle of qualifying right now. Alex, it's coming down to the wire. Who's going to make that Final Four?
You know, man, there seems to be a huge toss-up here just looking at the points and the differential between, because the difference between 8th place and that 4th place cut right now is 0.
That's right.
And then it goes 3 points to 3rd place for Scott Simley, 6 points to 2nd place for Ryan Howard, and 27 points to 1st place for Daniel Falkingham. So that 4th spot, I feel, is going to be pretty heavy to after these next 3 weeks, with how they're starting it and having everyone be pretty much on the same playing level is. It's going to make things a little interesting. So I think people need to show up every week, come to the races, make sure you're getting those points, and it's time to put up or shut up time, Joe.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on that one. So, going to be interesting to see who pulls it off. And obviously, you know, fan favorite man out there who's been dominating a lot this season, Daniel Falkingham. So, as we're getting set, racing here tonight, and talking about Daniel Falkingham, he puts it on pole. So, he doesn't want to leave this place here tonight without a good finish.
Nah, he doesn't. Always the Texas Motor Speedway has been one of my more liked mile-and-a-half tracks on the schedule. Let's see here. You got, obviously, it's a mile-and-a-half. You got banking in turns 1 and 2, 20 degrees through 24 degrees. I kind of like that. It adds a little bit of fluctuation to it, maybe changes the line. We'll see how guys are going to go throughout the night as the race kind of transpires a little bit. But usually see a lot of single file here. I mean, you can go 2, 3 wide even if you can, but you usually don't hold it for that long. So we'll see, especially because these mile and a halves get stretched out usually for the green flag runs, and just especially this group of guys. So we'll see.
And we always talk about, pit stops and stuff here, obviously to run 100% fuel. Now, I mean, this track is wide enough. Track position, I think, is going to be the major key here tonight. And, we talk about tires. I'd like to see how that plays a factor later on in the race, but I think we're going to come down to if it gets a long green flag run, again, we're going to set into just that one pit stop move that we've seen most of the time.
Right, and I'm right there with you. I kind of think that's how it's gonna go. It's probably gonna be maybe a little bit past halfway. I mean, there's always that good halfway marker where we see a lot of people kind of try and hit that as their mark for their pit stop. But obviously, cautions bearing and all that kind of hubble-a-bab, extra stuff we could bring into it. But if we go green, like this group of guys is just super good at keeping it going, I think we'll probably see just at about halfway, if not a little bit past, for a lot of these guys.
Here we go. That to go green flag here tonight. Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series. I think a couple guys, well, they're in the pits. There's Jeff Ryan and Chad Coleman coming out of the pits late.
Some posting adjustments.
Oh, yeah. Daniel Falkenham in a new car.
Yeah, I see that.
Nice looking ride he's got.
Oh, and that thing's pretty slick.
I know, I like that. Not as usual bait machine, huh?
Yeah, was
Base
it
cars
Raging
in.
Cajun?
Yeah, Raging Cajun. Base cars in. Here we go, green flag.
Green, green, green.
Texas racing here tonight.
So with this track, they consider it a quad oval, kinda. That's why that front stretch kind of juts out a little bit like that. Just like Charlotte, same thing.
Yep.
Same style track. I think it's owned by.
And I always
the same
kind of
people,
mimicked
so.
this one like Charlotte. So last time I raced on this track, it's been a while. I know, going into the turns, not too bad. Sometimes it get a little tight, but coming off these turns, especially turn 2, you can either get that tight, loose feeling. You can overdrive the turn a little bit, and it'll try to sling you up towards the wall, or you can get really loose coming out of it. So, got to be very careful here as everybody goes single file, kind of the top 10 does.
Right, and that's kind of what you're going to expect here, especially if they got those longer runs. It's going to get spaced out. Usually those. I can see this middle lane working a little bit through 3 and 4, a little more so 1 and 2. But I feel like the majority of everyone's going to try and be rocking that bottom groove right there, hugging the line.
Oh, yeah. Try to get to momentum. I mean, this track's got a lot of momentum play to it. Right now, Falkenham out front. He wants to extend that lead here in a round of 8, or, just go ahead and try to. What is him extending the lead? You don't punch a ticket here by winning, not in this series, but obviously he's already coming in here with like a 20, 21 point lead, so he wants to extend that out to make sure he makes it into that round of 4.
Right, and he's going to do everything he can. I mean, he's got Mike Kelly back there, Robert G right there on his inside a little bit, and we'll see what these guys can combat him with him for that position. Looks like Mike Kelly's got a pretty strong car here tonight too, because he is up there hugging the back end of Daniel Falkenham right there as we see Robert G's point of view right here. A good little view, see kind of how these guys are racing around the track up here towards the front.
Yeah, and you can just see kind of how the momentum plays here. There, Robert Gillenwater, he was on his back bumper there for a few laps ago with Mike Kelly trying to look on the inside, but then just couldn't get that move done. He had to fall back behind him. That brings the other pack up there along with him, Tommy Ryan, Jimmy Coleman. Like I said, though, Daniel Falkenham for the meantime out front, but this is one of these tracks where, you got to keep that momentum up, and one little bobble, and you could lose some positions.
Right, I was just about to get into that. I like how you said that, how that not keeping that momentum can really come back to you real quick here, especially with how close this front group is. What is that? I'll back all the way from first to seventh. You got Jose on the tail end right there, and even some of the other guys are still pretty close, but I feel like if you lose your momentum here and say you're Robert G right there, you got bumper to bumper 4 cars back, you're probably losing 3, if not all 4 of those positions, just because they're all just going to slide under you, and there's going to be no chance for you to get back down to the bottom.
Makes it frustrating to try to pass, too.
Yeah, it does, but sometimes that's the name of the game. You kind of just wait it out, wait for someone to make a little mistake right there, and then you just hit it. And just like you said, man, momentum plays a huge factor here.
You can see Mike Kelly right there. Looks like he's searching around the track just a little bit to see if he can't make up some ground. This is a tough place to pass at. It's almost, it's kind of like, Charlotte's a tough place to pass, I'll say that. It's like our car's spinning down on pit road. That's,
I think that was a little faster than pit road speed.
Yeah, Franklin. Let's see what happened to him here. Let's go out and replay real quick. Back there in the back, I don't know if he was trying to make a pit stop. See, he's in that 47 machine. Got it back up by himself. Goes to the inside. It's looks like Randy Yoakum on the outside of him. And they got together. Oh, well, that's a good save.
Took out the cone. Always got to take out the cone.
A good save there on his end, but because Mike Kelly, he's looking on the inside, so he's trying to keep Daniel Falkenham honest. It's just a very tough place to pass, and like we said, you mentioned Charlotte. That's it. I mean, this place is about like that. It's very tough to pass. You can see right there, Robert Gillenwater bobbled a little bit, and that allowed Tommy Ryan to pull up on his bumper.
Right, and I'm actually kind of surprised that these guys so far have been able to kind of keep as close as they are and not get as spaced out, because everybody knows pretty much if Daniel Falkenham's out front, somehow he just makes it and he goes. The guy puts something else in the car.
Well, they've changed something on this track. I don't know. Over the years, like I say, it's been a while since I have raced on this track here on iRacing. So it's a lot different than what it was before. And to me, it looks like it's kind of that typical 1.5 mile that they got now. Everybody's kind of bunched up. I mean, kind of even the real race today, they were kind of bunched up a little bit. Just still hard to pass. Had to set them up. But I think Mike Kelly's still working over the back end of Daniel Falkenham.
Yeah, he's trying to see what he can get Daniel Falkenham to do and see if he can get him to slip up a little bit. And you and I both know that's a pretty tough task. So we'll see if his constant barrage of attacks from that second place position can work out for him. And see, because we got some contenders here for the playoffs in this little group right here. So that's kind of what everyone wants to see. I know there's Ryan Howard right there sitting in 6th. He's currently 2nd in the points.
Robert Gillenwater also. But
I
Jimmy
believe-
Coleman, he comes in last, but he's having a pretty good run here in the 5th place spot so far.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what you got here this week. You got Auto Club, and then I believe you got Martin.
That's what I'm saying.
Or no, we
This
got
round
Homestead.
of the chase, really, these races, I'm going to say there's really, if any of them, probably Martinsville might be a kind of a wild card, but out of all 3 of these races, you really want to run good at all 3 of them. You don't want to try to make a mistake. If you want to make it to that round of 4.
Correct myself here, Joe. It's Texas tonight, Auto Club next week, and then the next week is Homestead.
Yeah,
not
that's what I'm saying.
Martinsville.
So it's those are 3 great tracks, and you're looking at probably every one of these contenders are going to be running very well. So if you have a bad race at any of those, you're going to put yourself in a huge hole. I don't think you can get out of to make that final 4 because there's such the 3 tracks are so good.
Right, and I think this round is a perfect example of consistency pays off, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
They're all
I agree with you there.
they're all similar. I mean, what you got here, 1.5 miles, Auto Club, which I believe is 2 miles, and then Homestead, which is another 1.5 miles. So these consistent races, and if you can put yourself in a position to win, obviously do it. But I think you just need to bide your time and make sure you hit your marks good and just show up and put in a good race. And I think it'll pay off for some of these guys that are on those outside positions looking in.
Absolutely. Good battle here around about that 10th place spot. You've got, looks like, if that's a lap car there of lap car Chad Coleman trying to up in the mix, but got Scott Simley there, Kevin Brown. That's it's Chad Coleman. For some reason he started on pit road tonight. Not sure why. What's up, Dustin? How you doing, man?
There's our famed 10th place spot battle. Week in and week out, just works out
30
for
is
us.
all. What is 8 is 8. Oh, Randy Yokel. Well, a little bit of contact, man, between y'all two. So pit stops. What do you think about pit stops here tonight?
Me?
Yeah, you're the only one in the booth with me.
Nah, I didn't know if you were asking me or asking out in the chat or whatnot. You were just talking about it in the chat, so I was like, but no, I think we're shooting for probably lap 65, 70. Kind of where I'm guessing.
Okay.
Obviously, caution's pending, but
True. And
That's kinda what I'm
you know, here they usually try to split this thing in one. So with what is it, 120 out here tonight? I will say 65. You might see somebody go further. We always do. Now, you know, unfortunately, Josh Parker put himself in a huge hole the last round. Did not make the round of 8, but definitely has a very consistent, fast car. He kind of seems that sometimes he's in the back, but he finds his way up to the front somehow.
does either. It's like a game to him. It's like, oh, let's just start in the back and then just get there, and then he does it.
He does
Every
yeah.
time. Every time. I don't know how he does. He's good at it. I'll tell
Just
you
put
that.
himself in a huge hole. I missed a couple races there in the last round, and again, you just can't do it and expect to get out of it because there is no win and you're in scenario here. So, got to do it all on points. Tommy Ryan, another one who is very, very quick, missing it. So, those guys are out here just trying to cap off their season and win. And Right here, you can kind of see the difference between new tires and old tires. So the old, newer tires there, Chad Coleman been a lap down and all. Obviously on newer tires, I mean, you can see the benefit of them.
Yeah, I was kind of seeing if Tommy was able to keep it close, if he could use Chad Coleman right there to kind of use him as an advantage and get around Robert Gillenwater right there in third place, excuse me. But, I mean, there you go. Those older tires versus those new tires just bombing. Huge difference right there. You can see it.
Oh, yeah. Now you're starting to see the field getting a little spread out. I mean, even up front here, you see Mike Kelly losing the back end just somewhat on Daniel Falkenham, Robert Gillenwater, but he's got Tommy Ryan on his back bumper.
Right, and Chad Coleman's fighting to get his lap back, so we'll see if he could be of assistance to some of these guys that are trying to chase down Daniel Falkenham up there. But I'm not sure. Kind of stuff rolls around in this league. Like manipulative kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But it happens. You never know.
All right, well, Daniel was still out front, though. Tommy trying to work over that back end of Robert Gillenwater.
Yeah, he's harassing that back end. He gets a little bit of space and then he closes it pretty quick and he's right there.
Another thing that iRacing really does well at, excuse me, folks, is the dirty air concept. We've talked about it a couple times. Car gets up there and, really big one right here would be Tommy Ryan trying to get up on the back of Robert Gillenwater. Is you can get like right there, but the car won't go any further. It starts to push. And, it's just kind of that arrow push. It happens in real life, and they do a really pretty good job here on the iRacing with it.
Yeah, I like how realistic they're adding more and more and more to make it as realistic as possible, and that's just something cool as you can see. We'll see if this is a good, perfect example of what Joe's talking about, because Tommy Ryan's getting close. He's right there. We'll see what he can make happen. It just looks like he's just getting to be right there, and then he's just like, oh, and then
the car just kind of gets tight on him, and he can't make that pass. Robert's not making it easy either.
I mean, you can't. Robert Gillenwater's fighting for points.
He is. I mean, I'm a big time advocate of just because you're not in the points don't mean you don't race these guys, and you can see that right there. Tommy is definitely racing him, and Robert wants to stay in that position, but in the meantime, he don't want to wreck himself either. And this is what Tommy's got to do. Can't get around him. Stay back here and make him mirror drive, so to speak, and maybe he'll miss one of his entries in his turn or something, and I'll be able to slip right by him.
Yeah, who was that earlier today in the race? Daniel Suarez, I believe, did the same thing with Martin Truex Jr. They were both battling for position, and Martin Truex Jr. ended up getting the bad end of it and got spun out or just kind of slid out to the wall or whatever happened. And I remember listening to the radio chatter, and Daniel Suarez was like, I don't care if he's in the playoffs. I'm fighting for a position.
Yeah, I mean, and,
so exactly.
And that's the thing. Yeah, I like that. I mean, the guys might be, it's kind of a double-edged sword. And the same way up here with like Mike Kelly and all that too. But I want to see these guys race. They want to win the race. Now, I don't want to see them got to wreck each other or anything like that. But this is good racing. This is good strategy style. I mean, and then like back here, you got Ryan Howard. He's making the pass over Jimmy Coleman. Here comes Jose Gonzalez. And old Josh Parker coming into the picture.
Right, and I just think that's just good racing in general. I'm always for that. Like, you don't got to give just because a guy's got a different stripe on the top of his windshield than you do, or whatever the determining factor is.
You just see how
on the
hard it is to
car.
pass here because Josh Parker's there, but trying to get around him, tough.
I mean, now he's got the inside line, but we'll still see how much Jose's able to hold on the outside off this turn. I mean, they're still door to door, but I think here is where Josh did do it right there on the inside, making it work, just getting that preferred line down there, making that work in his favor.
Well, he finally made that pass, and that just shows you how tough it is to pass here. It took him, about almost 2 laps just to make the pass around Jose. Might have been faster. That's just how careful you got to be.
Right, and now you got Coleman battling with Howard again right there. As you're watching, looks like he dove down under there. Now Josh Parker's up here harassing Ryan Howard too, so
Trying to get a Kit Kat.
I could go for one.
Yeah, give me a break. But you saw right there, all momentum. Parker was on his back bumper, couldn't get around him, had to let off, and you just saw how much, how much space he lost just by letting off in between the two.
Right, I think it's going to play a huge factor. I mean, if we get to the point where the tires get really bad, we're going to see some guys over here getting a little squirrely off the turns, and that's going to throw off momentum so much. But I think that's for a little bit later in the run. But these guys are still hooking and jabbing, battling really hard for these positions up front, and some guys just holding steady, and some guys are making it work and getting around people, as we've been seeing. Josh Parker starting a little bit farther back, and now he's way up here. He's 7th place currently. You got Ryan Howard kind of battling in a hold position where he's at. He's currently 2nd in points, so he's got a little bit of a cushion. Not as much as Daniel Falkenham does, but this is kind of what Ryan Howard does. He's just kind of really consistent, just does what he needs to do to kind of get things done.
Well, there you go. It's a perfect example of a good pass. Set him up. Howard went a little bit high, and Parker was able just to scoot right on by him on the underside. So definitely a good pass right there. Meanwhile, you still got Robert Gillenwater hanging on to that 3rd place. Daniel Falkenham out front. Got his new paint job. Not new ride, but it's new paint job at least.
Reminds me of like a Sports Clips kind of paint job looking
Nice
thing.
looking job. It's a nice looking one.
It's pretty crisp. I like it.
Yeah. Now he did have a pretty good lead. I was starting to build a lead over Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly has slowly but surely been able to either neutralize it or stay right there with him.
Yeah, he's doing a move, making sure that Daniel Falkenham ain't really running away from this. I'm kind of wondering if that lap car was able to help him a little bit, because I know Mike Kelly's not in the top 8 for the playoffs right now, so that guy's just out here cruising, and he's not letting Daniel Falkenham walk away how he usually does. So, but now they're dealing with some, looks like a little bit of lap traffic, so we'll see.
This
if
might
he
be
can get
where
caught up.
Mike Kelly there. Kelly wants to see if he can't use that lap traffic for his advantage.
Yeah, and I think this will be a good spot to try that and see how he can get that to work in his favor.
Been a good run between the top 2 up here right now. Oh, Mike Kelly coming on pit road, so that's way earlier than I thought. Man, to whoa that thing down, but this is a lot earlier than I would have expected. Wow.
Maybe he's expecting to come in now and then not pit again. That's kind of what I'm thinking he's doing. He's coming in now and he's not going to pit again. He's going to bank on any advantage he can get when some of these other guys come down.
Yeah, I mean, that's just way earlier than I would have thought. Now, I mean, this track, it is a little harder on tires, and you will get really loose, but he wasn't really falling off the pace in it.
No, he wasn't. He was holding pretty steady up there, locking that second place spot down. So I was a little curious, but I think things are getting a little squirrely back there with Jose and Ryan Howard.
That's Jose, Ryan, and Kevin Brown.
See these guys bumping around all over the place.
But yeah, I mean, you know, Kelly was, he wasn't losing ground or anything to Falkenham, so just kind of strange. Early pit stop, like you said, maybe trying to get the advantage of those tires.
But we'll see how it plays out if we got, whenever the rest of these guys come down, we'll see how, if it pays off at all.
I'm going to say that these guys ain't coming until at least lap 6.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't think they'll come until after that point. And usually that's what we say. It's usually pretty cookie cutter. You get it halfway, pretty much right around there. You got the majority of everyone coming down.
Yeah. I mean, now you will get loose. See Ryan right there fighting with a loose condition. I mean, this place, after a while, yes, you will get loose. Joey Woods hanging on to 11th place back there. Scott Simley in 10th. Anthony Calatoni in 12th. But, yeah, I mean, you're going to get loose. But I don't know. That was kind of a strange style pit stop.
Yeah, I think he's going to do... I don't know. It's kind of curious. I mean, I'm excited to see kind of how that plays out, because now Daniel Falkenham's got a little bit of space in between himself and Robert Gillenwater, who's second place. He's got a little bit over a second lead right there, and then you got Tommy Ryan right there with him. You got Coleman right there and Josh Parker as well coming up on these two. It looks like those two got pretty good long run cars, so we'll see how they can go about catching up to Tommy Ryan and Robert G right here and what they can do. Looks like Mike Kelly's right there.
Well, you know, you can see the benefit of the new tires, obviously. I mean, he's probably going to get one of his laps back, if not the lap back. Excuse me. Yeah, on the green here. Still, Tommy, though, battling on the back end of Robert Gillenwater, and that might open the door up for him right there. But just the older tires just can't hold it down.
Right, and Tommy's just going to fall back in line right there. Looks like Mike Kelly's going to contest for his lap back right now in turns 3 and 4. Looks like he's going around Daniel Falkenham up there, but here comes Coleman and Parker right in on these two, so we'll see. Looks like we got a good little group right here, good little battling for that position coming on here in the next lap or so.
Got some clusters going on throughout the field, so like what you said. This is the battle, because now you've got Jimmy Coleman, Josh Parker, Tommy Ryan, and Robert Gillenwater all right there in the mix.
And Robert's doing a good job of holding his position down, because he's currently 4th in those points, but everybody, including himself, from 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, they all are even in points coming into this race. So, or not, hold on just a second. Yeah, okay. Made sure I was on the right date, so I was like, hey, hold on a second. But, nah, he's doing a good job of holding down that position. He's going to do everything he can to lock down that second place, if not come home with a win, because he's going to need a little help getting a buffer between himself and some of these guys, and that's just what he needs to do. This is kind of, like I said at the beginning, kind of put up or shut up kind of thing. He's definitely showing out.
It is. And Tommy's been working over the back end of Robert for a lot of laps. I mean, almost for the first of the race.
Right, these two have been pretty much attached at the hip the whole time. So it just shows how consistent these guys are with each other, how respectful they are of each other when it comes to racing hard, and all curriculars that are included in that. And it's always a good show with these guys, and it looks like,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Tommy's still hanging on. Josh Parker's been the man on the move so far, though.
That's just what he does, man. Somehow, some way, overcomes adversity and does it.
Up to fourth. Let's see if we can get up there to Tommy Ryan and company and get around those guys easily.
We'll see, because now that lap car with those fresh tires is coming out, going around him, so now it's just going to be them two in front of him, so we'll see. He has amazing long run speed, as you can see. So I'm hoping he'll catch these guys relatively soon, because he's just leaving Coleman in his dust.
And Tommy's right there on the back tailgate of old Robert Gillenwater. To Parker, it'll take Parker several laps to get up there to him, though. Daniel's just out there maintaining that lead.
Yeah, he's not really letting up much. I mean, I haven't seen any Robert G crack under a second here in a little while, so he's just doing what he needs to do and keeping himself out of trouble. Making sure he keeps locking in. As I
Curious
said,
about that pit stop on Mike Kelly. He's still he's over a second faster right now.
Kind of curious stuff going on with that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy Coleman still hanging on to the fifth place spot. Jose right there in sixth. You got Kevin Brown up in the seventh. David Comstock quietly running there in eighth. Scott Simley back in ninth. Doey Woods holding on to the 10th place spot. Anthony Calatoni right behind him with Mike Kelly. Way further on back, but he is right on the lead lap in 12th. Greatest battle on the tracks between these two right now, and Tommy's just trying to figure out a way to get around him.
Yeah, these guys have been duking it out the entire race so far. And it's just been a little game of cat and mouse here and there. I mean, you leave a little bit of a gap and then filled. Looks like Jimmy Coleman's caught up to Josh Parker now right behind these two, so we got a couple little battles going on up here in the top five.
It is. You still see Ryan. He's working over Gillenwater. I think if he just one little bobble, one little mistake by Robert, Tommy's going to be there.
Yeah, and this kind of just goes to show that I guess you could say the biding for time and then waiting for someone to lose it, because these guys are catching up to Daniel Falkenham. Actually, they've been cutting this lead here and there, and I mean, if they do, I mean, I'm expecting those pit stops to happen relatively soon. But if they come out and get able to pass Daniel Falkenham up there, that'd be a huge win for Robert Gillenwater if he was able to do that. And that really set himself in a good standing for the next two races.
Yeah, it is. The next two are going to be a good one. Auto Club, close. Be a little bit bigger, but kind of close to resembling what Texas is all about. Momentum style track there too. Now you're gonna see Tommy's gonna try the high line, and I think Robert's coming on pit road. That's why.
So there he goes, leaving him. We see some of that different pit strategy going on.
Well, that's lap 60, and that's kind of where we were thinking before.
Oh, Mike Kelly, coming up, passing all the dudes on pit road.
He's still about 17 seconds back. I mean, obviously because he had to go around the whole entire track, but let's see. Still got that advantage, a little bit of advantage as far as tires go, lap-wise. Now you see your top 4 or 5 all on pit road. This is kind of where I thought, except for Daniel Falkenham not coming on pit road, but this is kind of where I thought they would pit at 60, 65, somewhere in that area.
I feel like this is what happens most of the time anyways. I feel like we see most of the people kind of pitting where we think, and then Daniel Falkenham comes in like a lap or two after.
Oh boy, he came in hard.
Coming in on his own program over there.
Let's see if that hurts his pit stop in here. I mean, as far as like pit time, or because we always talk about, and there goes Mike Kelly taking the lead. So this is what Kelly's going to have to do. Got to get as far out as he possibly can. But let's see if this really hurts Daniel Falkenham's total pit stop time.
If Mike Kelly's going to cut this race into thirds. Because that's not off the table.
Falkenham had a really good pit stop still, even coming in hot like he did. I just don't think Mike Kelly's far enough ahead. Those new tires of Falkenham are going to show up here. He only got about 24 seconds ahead. And we seen, Kelly with newer tires just run down the field. We'll look at the lap times here and see maybe kind of the difference.
That's kind of why I'm wondering if he's going to try and cut this race into thirds, Joe. Maybe come in right around that 80.
But if he pits again, he's... I don't know if he's going to have enough time to... That's the thing. If he pits again, now would be the time to do it. Do it now, because that way you would have enough time to capitalize. Because the further you wait, or the more you wait on the track, you're just going to run out of time trying to get back around.
Right, and I like how you just said that, because he can use his advantage right now to not end up going a lap down.
Right, yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, he's 22 seconds ahead. I mean, he's only 4 seconds ahead of Ryan. Now, when I say 22, it's ahead of Daniel Falkenham, that is. I mean, obviously there's 4 or 5 other cars in between them. But you're right. He could use that, go in, get newer tires. We've seen the advantage of newer tires. And still have time on the track. But let's say he pits at lap 100. To me, that's just not going to be enough time to get back around the track here and catch back up if he plays that card.
Yeah, no, I think it'd have to be relatively soon.
Yeah,
for him
I
to
do too.
That.
Because right now you're looking, Daniel Falkenham ran a 31.56. He ran a 32.30 or 32.20, Kelly did. So he's not very far off, not like what it was. His tires haven't fallen off totally. I don't know. I don't know what the game plan is. Do you say, okay, I've made my bed, I need to lay in it. Hopefully I can hold these guys off and I take it to the end. Because, let's see, everybody went, 60, 61 laps. He pitted at lap 41, 42. Theoretically, he could go the entire distance. No, he couldn't. Never
don't
mind.
think
He's going to have to make another pit stop somewhere. Unless
But
he can go 80 laps.
I don't really see that. Personally, I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see
I mean,
him
if I'm Kelly,
wanting to.
if I'm Kelly, I'm coming in pit road now. And never mind, we just clicked on him and talk about pit road. Wow,
He's there.
Mike Kelly
there,
just
Joe.
crashed on pit road. Talk about a change. So I think he was coming on pit road when I said, and we've seen all night long everybody having trouble coming down pit road, trying to whoa up. Let's see here. Oh no, he got tagged by a lap car. The leader. Wow. Talk about a turn of events for the
Isn't that
leader.
fun?
Oh man. Well, forget about everything we're talking about pit wise with him, but oh, I know now he's probably not very happy over that.
Nah, man. I mean,
Just
gosh.
contact right there.
I can
Wow,
only-
talk about bad luck.
it looked like he came off of 4 a little loose, but then he got it under wraps, and then that lap car or whoever it was just
It was
kind of
just
came
there,
down.
yeah. I mean, it's
And-
just crazy.
Yeah. Ugh.
Wow.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. So, what would have been a good run strategy-wise? Now we got to look. Josh Parker have enough to hold off Falkenham and him and win this thing tonight.
I don't know.
Falkenham's only about 3 seconds back. He's running a little bit quicker.
I feel like we see this all the time where Josh Parker is able to get up there, but then he's not able to close.
Yeah. Now, the good thing about this track is what we have seen is it's so hard to pass. Daniel does have several cars he's got to pass unless he can get around them very quickly. Again, that time there, it could run out because we've seen it takes several laps kind of just to pass a car. I mean, he might be able to run up here on the back bumper of Tommy Ryan, and yes, he's faster, but getting around Tommy is going to be the next thing.
Right, and with how Tommy and Robert G have been this race so far, I think, especially Rob, be difficult to pass, which is how he's been locking it down with Tommy harassing him the entire race. I think it might be a little difficult.
Yeah, I mean, and you see back here, I mean, Falkenham's going to close in, but you also see just how many laps, how much time and how many laps it takes for him to close that gap. It's going to take him probably the next 5 laps just to close the gap. Maybe another 3. If he goes around him, I'm going to say at least 3 to 4 to get around him. By that time, you're in the 80-some laps. I mean, he's there, yes. So, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like Robert G coming up on Josh Parker up here. We'll see what he's got for him. And if he can show Tommy Ryan, hey, maybe you could have done this to pass me. I don't know. Or bring him with. Who knows? 'Cause Tommy Ryan don't want to let go of that back bumper of Robert G, and he's been close the whole race so far.
Oh, yeah. You can see the top 3 kind of bunching up a little bit. But, you know, we saw that earlier. Tommy, you know, rode on the back end of Gillenwater. And here's the thing I've mentioned a lot. A guy like Daniel Falkenham or anybody gets out front, They know what their car will do out in clean air. He does not know what his car is going to do in dirty air. And like I said, you can already see just the amount of time it's taking him to catch this pack, let alone try to go around him.
Right, and I think, have a four-way battle for the lead here pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel's coming up.
I mean, there's no doubt he's going to not get there. It's just look how long it's taken. I said it would probably take him to 5 laps, and it has. How is it going to take him another 5, 10 laps to get around these guys?
Right, and here, perfect example of the story of tonight has been how Tommy Ryan's been right there on Robert Gillenwater. And now, here comes Daniel right on them. So we'll see. I mean, he's got, what, 1 lap, 2 lap newer tires or something like that?
He does, but he's got to be careful here. I mean, because you can use up those tires, getting up here battling with these guys. I mean, he's going to want to try to get around them as fast as he can. And Tommy's there. I mean, you can just see. He's like, man, look, got to get up here to Josh. You guys are in the way. I'm surprised Gillenwater moved like he did. Especially since he's battling for some points.
Right, I feel like he probably should have held and tried and pinched a little bit going into the turn. Obviously not super aggressively because he still wants to maintain that good points. But the only people that the points matter in this group is for Daniel Falkenham and Robert Gillenwater. Josh Parker and Tommy Ryan are out of the picture for it.
And I want to see them two race hard here. I mean, I want to see them not just roll over, just because Falkenham's back there. I like what I'm seeing here. Tommy wants to win. He's got a fast car. It's now he bobbled right there. That's a mistake that Falkenham wants to see. But it's Falkenham's what is it? Job to get around these guys. It's not theirs just to move over.
Right, and now I believe we're going to see a little flip of the script a little bit with Robert G having to work over Tommy Ryan, which will be kind of interesting, I think. We'll see how these guys roll around. But Tommy, like you said, he's just not over. I mean, he's still battling on the outside, but eventually that inside prevails. It took him, what, a lap and a half to get that pass done?
Oh, yeah.
A lap or so. And Tommy's just going to latch right on the back of him. Not let him run away with it as they're going to go up, try and contest up there for the lead with Josh Parker.
Well, let's see if he can get up there and get around Parker quickly. Had a little hard time getting around Tommy Ryan right there.
That just shows how long it can take to successfully complete a pass at this track. Like you've been saying, it's hard to pass here. You've been saying it all night. That just shows it right there. Even the top hitter guys go through the same stuff everybody else does. So we saw it right there.
And it's not gaining any ground right now on Parker. I mean, by battling with Tommy like he did, it used up a little bit of those tires.
Right, it did, and now they're closing in. There's
Gonna be a heated battle here at the end, though.
I completely agree with you, Joe. I think it's gonna be pretty I'll say we got what, 36 laps to go, 34. I mean, something like that, 34 or 33 now.
And at some point, Falkenham's probably he's going to sit back if he can't get around. Parker. Parker there, he's probably going to be like, okay, obviously I don't want to wreck. I don't want to lose that many positions. where I'm at right now, because the championship is the big picture.
Right, that's the end goal, and he's not going to really do anything to jeopardize his chance. Because, I mean, if, say he gets up here and battles too hard and he crashes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's going to be not really in the deficit, but he won't have the lead that he had or has currently. I mean, he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he usually does things very clean. So we'll see what he's got. Now Tommy Ryan's answering back, getting on that back bumper. We're nose to tail for the top three right here.
And this is just talking about that dirty air that we were talking about before.
Yeah, now he's having to deal with it behind Josh Parker. So it's just little factors add up a little bit, make things a little more difficult and drawn out. And I mean, I think this is exciting racing we got going on right here. Definitely hard racing up here at the front.
Top three right now, looking strong.
Right, they are, and you got Robert G still somewhat there. He's not really there, like nose to tail, kind of like with these guys, but he's still there. You got Kevin Brown a pretty decent ways behind him, so I think Robert G's kind of just along for the ride now, going to secure those points as he is looking from that fourth place position in points in. I mean, he's above the cut right now, technically, but I think this is what he needs to do to get a good lead over some of these other contenders. Just being smart about it.
Oh, it's definitely a good race here in the top three. So, and one thing though, what Walkenham has to worry about is if he makes the move on Parker, that could bring Tommy Ryan there too. So he has to be 100% sure he can make that pass before he dives down on the inside.
Right, and I think Tommy's in the perfect spot to capitalize on that as well. Just like you were saying, it just gets so close. Like you can see, he's right there on the back bumper. And then Tommy Ryan is just right there, ready to answer the call when it comes.
You saw there, Walkenham went high, and you just saw the closing rate that Tommy was able to make up going down low on him.
Right, and I think that's Daniel Falkenham right there, maybe going to get a little breath of fresh air. Or he did it because, well, I'll stay on that point really quick, because staying behind Josh Parker like that, as you brought up a couple of times, is that just that dirty air. Just get a little breath of fresh air, stick a little bit of the grill outside so you can get some. Or he did it so that he wouldn't lose his momentum as much, because if he gets on that back bumper of Josh Parker, then they go into the turn and he's like right there, he might have to whoa up a little bit so he doesn't wreck him or nothing like that and really screw the pooch in the momentum aspect of things. So I think that might have been what he was doing to keep momentum going.
Yeah, it is. You still see Falkenham trying to work over the back of Parker. Parker's doing a good job holding him off.
Yeah, he is. Now, Tommy Ryan getting a little bit of separation, and there, he's still close. I think he's going to close here relatively soon, and Josh Parker just slams the door like, nope, not today. Or at least not
yet.
Him. gonna keep harassing him hot though.
Definitely a good race up front between all three of them. You see Tommy falling back just a little bit, but still, he could make that ground up if one of those guys bobbles up front.
Right, and that's kind of what he needs a little bit, I think. I don't know if he's going to be able to just catch up with these guys off the bat, but, I mean, he's close. He can definitely do it.
Oh, yeah. And it's all Parker was able to get away, so I think Falkenham at this point understands it's going to be a chore to maybe try to get around Parker.
It might be, or just... I feel like this might be how we might be seeing it here. I'm not quite sure yet. A couple more laps have to go by for this really to be solidified. But I think Josh Parker is a master at tire management, and I think this might be how he's able to come through the field as quickly as he does. He kind of just moseys along, even though he's battling up front right now. He just kind of moseys along and then puts the gas down and creates that separation, and I think that's what might be his play for being able to move through the field so much, because now he's putting some space in between himself and Daniel Falkenham, which is, I think, exactly what he wants to do right now.
And looking good doing it.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, and you know, Falkenham too has to look at the big picture. Championship. I want to maintain my points lead. I've got one here, so there you go.
Right. I mean, think about it. If you're the first out of the playoff drivers and you all start with the same points and you're the first one across the stripe, you're going to be the first one in the points. And I think that's just exactly what he's doing.
Good run so far.
But I don't think the battles up front are done yet. Still got 20 laps to go. I don't think they're done yet, Joe.
No. Tommy right there in third. Robert Gillenwater hanging on the fourth. Kevin Brown back in the fifth place spot. David Comstock, he's battling with a lap car there, sitting in sixth. Scott Simley seventh. Dowie Woods up into the eighth. Ryan Howard there in ninth, and then Anthony Calatoni, first one lap down in 10th place spot. All this man up front.
Right, and Scott Simley didn't seem like he was starting off the night too well, and now he's coming up, doing a good job, kind of mitigate the loss he could have had, because he started not as well as I thought he would have, but now he is kind of making it up and trying to make a good points night out of it. Because I just trip over myself like 8 times right there.
You see Falkenham, he's falling off. It's all Parker out front.
Right, his lead's not as big as it was, I think. I think he was flirting with like 8, maybe 8/10 of a second or something like that, and Daniel's cut it down a little bit. But I don't know, man. Seeing how difficult it was, just being right there, how hard it was for him to be able to even get a chance at getting there on Josh Parker, I think you hit it pretty much on the nail, as he's just going to bide his time right there. He's closing in again, so we'll see. I don't know. I think passing here at this stage of the game with the tires being worn down as they are, because we're nearing 45 laps, or pretty close to 45 laps on these tires. So I think we need to proceed with a little bit of caution here in regards to making any moves for that position.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's going to have one last dash effort here to try to get around Parker. I mean, he's closing in, and it's probably going to take him about all of the 15 laps just to try to get this one shot at taking that lead away.
Right, and I think he's going to have to do it relatively soon. And seeing how stretched out some of these position battles can be, the time's ticking. I think in favor of Josh Parker. So we'll see. Because he's there, he's ready to strike. He wants Parker to mess up just a little bit. We both know these are some of the top tier guys we got in this group.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just biding his time, kind of making sure he's there just in case something happens. Or maybe he makes something happen.
And I know at this point, Parker's probably like kicking himself for missing the round of 8.
I believe he missed a couple races, and that's really what put him in that hole.
Yeah.
But here he is, regardless, showing up.
He wants some wins.
You don't got to be in the playoffs to win a race.
No, we don't. The top 2 here for the Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series. They've spread that lead out now over Tommy Ryan sitting in 3rd. Does Daniel Falkenham have enough to get around Josh Parker here late?
I don't know, but it's winding down. I'm getting close to the edge of my seat here.
Don't fall off.
Hopefully I won't.
See, Falkenham's there.
He is. He's close.
I know Parker can feel him right behind him.
Oh yeah, you feel him. You can see him. Gosh, such a psyche thing too.
Oh yeah, one small mistake by Parker. I mean, he's got to hit his lines. And we talk about you want the guy to drive in his mirror, but as the leader, that's what you've got to not do. Don't concentrate on what the guy behind you is doing. Concentrate on what you need to do out front.
Right, it's like just kind of hit your marks going into the turn, coming out of the turn, and all that jazz, and maybe deal with a little bit of maneuvering on the straightaways and just hit those marks again.
Absolutely.
And they're both hitting those marks, man. They're both doing good.
This is a solid run, and it just goes back to showing you how hard it is to pass at a place like this. And next week, Auto Club, same deal. It's going to be a tough one to pass.
Another one, too, like you were just saying, man. I think an Auto Club that's brought into the picture, too, is a little bit more draft factor. Since it is a little bit of a longer track at 2 miles, draft plays a little bit of a factor, too, especially on that long backstretch they got.
Oh, yeah. You can just see the difference between the two here. Wow.
Right? We come to stripe, 7 laps to go. Does he do it? I mean, he's right here. This is a great angle.
He gets a good run going into the turn, but just he's not able to, obviously he has to let out or just ride right down the back bumper. Nothing he can do because Parker is hitting his marks.
Right, and I mean, this is just, that's a great view. This one as well, just to kind of see these guys going around.
Oh, there he just drove it into the turn that time, and if that thing would have stuck, he might have, but I think that's kind of a little bit of desperation there. He just kind of drove it into the turn. Either that or Josh Parker is having to let out. Those tires might be going away.
Yeah, and I think that might be why he had to let up a little bit, because those old tires weren't going to be able to hold it in that line at that speed coming down. I don't think those old tires would be able to hold very well.
You got to remember, Parker pitted on 59, Falkenham at 62, so Falkenham has the newer tires, and now is when you will see the major difference. And I think right now Parker's just having to cruise through the turns. Falkenham's able to run through the turns a little bit faster. So if you're Parker out front right now, you're just kind of holding your breath, hoping that you can make it to that checkered flag without him finding a way to get around you.
Or making a way for him to get around you.
Yeah, that too. Absolutely. He's
it's always
there.
in the playing cards.
There.
But no,
I mean, last lap here,
guys,
Alex. The last lap, they ran a hundredth different in time.
That is ridiculously close.
We got 3 to go here, and yeah, you can see Parker having just let out way earlier to make it through the turn. And nothing that Falkenham could do. He could try to go to the high side, but I don't think that car's going to be able to hold. And as long as Parker can hold that thing down low, he's not going to give that inside up.
No way, and that's exactly where it needs to be, too.
Wow, look at that. I mean, that's about close enough.
View.
And oh, almost went in the grass with him right there. Wow. You know Falkenham is way faster. He don't want to bump him, but getting close.
Right, that's what I was going to bring up, too, is a lot of times you see these guys do a great job of being respectful when it comes to racing each other for position. And a lot of a lot of stuff you see on here is just, you're just like, oh, that was a class act. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing right here as we're coming to the stripe. 1 lap to go.
1 to go here tonight. Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group here at Xfinity Series. Can Parker hold him off? You see Falkenham, he's going to try, and he's going to have 2 more turns to get it done. Trying to break that draft, and he's out of gas.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you serious?
No way.
He's either out of gas, or he just let Falkenham go. Wait a minute, I think he's out of gas.
Yeah, I don't think he let him go. And here comes Tommy Ryan.
Tommy's going to take second, but Parker is going to lose 3rd place.
Oh,
Robert Gillenwaters is going to take it from him. So, are you kidding me? In the last turns.
That's the first for me, Joe.
That's crazy of a finish.
Goodness.
Oh.
Is this NASCAR playing with the standings again?
I tell you what, talk about a wild one.
Golly. That was Jesus.
Wow, what a finish to that one. I wouldn't have seen that one coming. I mean, all the fighting Parker was doing, I don't know if he had a problem or he ran out of gas or what, but man, wow.
Dude, I didn't even think of that.
I wouldn't either, because he pitted at lap 59.
59.
I mean, and Mike Kelly, I don't know. Crazy finish to this one.
Yo, that was nuts.
Crazy finish.
Great battles, though.
Oh, it was. It was an awesome awesome chess match between him and Parker up there. So definitely love that.
Some insight from Daniel Falkenham when we get him up here.
Yeah. Oh. If we can't find old Ryan Howard here. Robert Gillenwater, excuse me.
Robert G.
Trying to find him.
Sim500 Mafia.
Yeah, trying to find him here.
Bob Gillen, H2O.
Where's he at?
He's in the waiting room.
Oh, he is? Oh, okay. Well, let's bring up 3rd place man, Robert Gillenwater, who just slipped right by there at the end. Let's get a word with him.
Robert Gillenwater. Alex up in the booth, you got me?
Yeah, I got you, Alec.
Whoa, barely sliding in there for a third finish. How you feeling?
Oh man, I kind of like an idiot, man. I didn't really save any fuel that first run, and ended up having to save it all on the second one. I mean, just about that whole second run, I was clutching it through 1 and 2, and just had to let those guys go. But I was wondering, I kept wondering about Josh when he had pitted. I thought he was on a different strategy, but when he didn't pit, I thought, wow, man. And then, I saw him running out in 3 and 4 as I was coming down the backstretch, man. I just, I got on it as hard as I could. That was a lucky one. That was a gift.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, we saw you whiz by right before the stripe, bringing home that third place finish. And let's talk about your position battle with Tommy Ryan for the better half of the, first 3 quarters, if not a little bit more of the race, man. I mean, just holding it down the first half or so, dealing with him being in front of you a little bit there, and Daniel Falkenham kind of coming in the mix, throwing you guys a little sideways or whatever in your battle. But man, let me kind of go with what's going through your head during that extremely stretched out position battle you had with Tommy Ryan.
Yeah, well, I kept thinking Tommy was really a lot better getting into one and hanging the bottom. And I felt like I might have been a little bit better, but like I said, I think he was saving fuel and just clutching and was kind of drifting down in there. And I mean, I know he had to really kind of wool up a couple of times to keep from getting into me. And finally there towards the end in that second round, I told him, I said, man, come on, go ahead, it's yours. He's like, no. And it hit me then. My gosh, fuel mileage. I mean, I was behind the curve on it like an idiot, but anytime I can run with Tommy, or vaguely hang on to Daniel or Josh, it's a win for me. I mean, those guys are so good that, we'll take it. That's for sure.
Yeah, man, definitely making it work. I mean, we were on you for an awesome amount of this race, man. That battle going on was super awesome to watch. Just the in and out of it every lap was just awesome. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty cool up here. I bet you guys were having a blast doing it. Anybody you want to give a shout out to or thank for this third finish tonight here at Texas?
Well, I do want to thank Tommy because, like I said, he gave me a couple little breaks there, and I can assure you, man, I'm like wringing wet. It was pressure. So, shout out to Tommy. But, thank you guys for broadcasting. OSRN, of course, and Sim500, and Jimmy Coleman, here in the Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series he's done a killer job all year, and we appreciate them, appreciate Ford Entertainment Group so much. We can't say enough. I think we've got some exciting stuff coming up this week with the top 8, maybe some giveaways and things. So we just really, really want to thank those guys. Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation and Raging Cajun, John Mushton, for painting us up. And we just thank you guys a lot.
Heck yeah, man. Well, definitely awesome race here tonight. Good points night for yourself, too. Being the second person in the list of guys that received points tonight in that finishing order. So definitely get a good jump to some of those other guys that you're battling with for that cutoff line. I think you did a pretty good job here tonight. So congratulations again, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. And tracks coming up, we're kind of looking forward to those tracks. So, we'll see what happens, but just glad to be here. And thank you guys a lot.
Go third place man, Robert Gillenwater, sneaking it in there, getting that third place with Tommy Ryan here tonight. Holding it on, coming home here in second.
Tommy Ryan, Alex, up at the booth, you got me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my dude. So we were just talking to Robert G about his battle with you that took up a lot of our time up here, I'll say. I mean, it was super stretched out. Just kind of run me through kind of your viewpoint on what was going on and how you were going about things during that, 3 quarters of the race battle with him?
Yeah, I didn't, I was just biding my time, and Bob is, his skill level has really gotten extremely good over the last year or so, and obviously he's racing for a championship, and I'm not anymore. And I was just like, I'm just going to try to ride behind Bob and maybe learn something that he may know a little better. And by doing that, I was saving gas and saving tires. And I wasn't in any hurry because typically we would watch Daniel walk off in the sunset, so we were actually catching back up to him. And I Bob pitted one lap before I did, and we came back out, and then I walked up there to him, and at that point Daniel was coming, and it was go time. And but no, it was it probably looked a lot more exciting on TV than it was in my car, because I was honestly just trying to get the best finish I could and try to keep pace and try to learn something about this place for tomorrow night, honestly.
And I mean, dude, I thought it was super exciting. I bet Joe would say the same. Watching how stretched out that kind of position battle was going. I mean, you guys took up a huge chunk of the race just with each other and whatnot. And then at the end, you got Josh Parker running out of gas or whatever happened to him, and you come home second place.
I know. When I saw Josh pit, I was like, man, he's going to have to really, he's got to be in the throttle a lot near the end of this thing to pull that off. And I was like, well, time will tell. And I knew him and Daniel were going at it, and I was just kind of sitting back. I was like, okay, so if something happens, I got to be able to maneuver this car around, so I don't want to tear up the tires too bad. So I was like, I'm going to finish here third probably, and whatever happens. And I lost sight of them through them as I was entering one, and I was coming off two, and I was like, oh boy, they're too wide. And I was like, wait a minute, Josh is way off the pace. And then I figured, I was like, oh hell, he's out of gas. So at that point, it was it is what it is. But the track is a lot of people don't like this new configuration. I don't mind it so much. I like both of them, but great run for Northern Tool. The FEG PC series, and it's I hate I'm not in a championship run, but things happen in real life that couldn't allow me to be here to be a contender. But fun racing here.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, it's fun for us up here too. So anybody you want to give a shout out to or thank for this second place finish here tonight at Texas?
Yeah, thanks for Bob for towing me around for half the race. Yeah, my sponsor, Northern Tool and Equipment, snapmobile.shop, and you guys are putting on broadcast, man. It's always fun to go back and watch, and I don't know how, not a real big field, but there's not too many places we can go to have a decent car count and go green flag racing like that and have some respect on the track. So it's good wholesome fun, man.
Yeah, we thought so too, man. I bring it up a lot is how it seems like everybody out here is pretty respectful when it comes to racing each other and keep each other accountable and all that, and it plays into a huge factor of why this series is so good. So congratulations again, man. Second place finish here at Texas tonight. Yep.
It is good. You get a couple of these guys around each other. It's like gasoline fire, but I like it everywhere. But thanks a lot, man. You guys have a good one.
There you go, second place man Tommy Ryan bringing it home here with this guy. A little wild finish here. Daniel, Joy in the booth, got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you brought out a new paint job tonight here and dominated the first half of the race. Then Parker got out there and was riding. Take us back. Did you think he was going to run out of fuel there at the end? Because that surprised us.
Yes and no, because here's the thing. I had this whole plan set out from the start of the race because I figured we were going to have to save a bit of fuel to one-stop this. So when we went through all that debacle and stuff and we came out of the pits and I saved a little bit at the start of the run to make sure I had enough fuel for the end so I could push as hard as I could, or at least push a little bit harder. And when I caught up to Josh, and he was doing really good defending there, trying to keep me behind him, which he did a really good job at. and how he did defend it so well. And I think he was trying to save fuel at the same time because he pitted before halfway. So I figured surely he can't make it. But I mean, I went 62 laps. So pretty much he had to do like 61 around that area if he was going to make it. So figured he could possibly make it, or he couldn't. So I was trying to push him all the way to make sure he could help burn that fuel. And I was trying to get around him because I had 3-lap fresher tires, but just the aero on these cars is so bad that you really can't get within 2-3 tenths of someone or ride on their bumper because just your tires just get so hot and to get so much heat buildup that they just wear out. So it's crazy. So like after that, I tried to cool it down there with like 20 to go, cool my tires a bit, and then try to go back after him. And I could definitely tell he was feeling the pressure because he was starting to check up more going into turn 1. So I could tell he was definitely starting to get on fumes and stuff. Then once he said he was sputtering down the back straightaway, I was like, oh, wow, he actually ran out because I didn't think he was going to when we took the white flag. So definitely surprised me there in a bit. But honestly, I'm glad we were able to pull that off because considering how well I did the first half of the race and how my plan was set out, I would have been pretty annoyed if I wasn't able to pull this off. But thankfully we did.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, sometimes, right place, right time. But like you said, Parker was doing what he needed to do out front. This place, you brought that up. We talked about that throughout the race. The aero push here, it's so tough to pass at this place. Even though you might have a good tire, it's just a tough place to pass. But, man, a surprising turn of events. Him running out of fuel, you bringing it home. That's definitely going to extend your lead here in the round of 8, helping you get to that Final 4. Got anybody you want to thank for the awesome victory tonight?
For sure. Got to thank my actual sponsors, First Rebate Laps 207 for all their support. I keep forgetting to switch over my paint scheme because I remember we ran this for the League versus League Challenge with Elite Sim Racing, so I got to get that back. But got to thank all those guys for my sponsors for their support. First Rebate Laps 207. Got to thank you guys for being on the broadcast. Definitely must have been a fun race to watch there at the end. Definitely going to go back and watch that. I'm going to go thank everyone at Team Name, Chad Coleman, David Comstock, Joy Woods, Kevin Brown, and Josh Parker. That was a good little teammate battle there at the end. Glad we came out on top, even though it was his demise. But thanks to all of them. Thanks to everyone who comes out of races each and every week. Thank Joey and everyone who runs the show at Sim500. I got to thank Ford Entertainment Group for sponsoring the series. Hopefully we win that drawing for that computer. That'd be nice to have one of those again. So we'll see what happens there. But thanks to FEG for sponsoring the series. And I also got to thank all the fans who comes out and watch us each and every week. And thanks to all my friends and family for checking us out as well.
There you go. Winner tonight, Daniel Falkenham brings it home. Victory Lane extends that lead. Well, folks, what an exciting finish here to start the round of 8 here at Texas for the Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series. And for myself and everyone, have a good night.